Right, well I've got this this garage. It's about what is it, 6.5 by 4 meters, and it's got a corrugated asbestos roof, and the the house next to me is an office. It's used for offices, and so the back garden is sort of like wild, and the ivy grew up and it grew all up the side of the garage. Originally, when I started in business, I used this as my workshop until I built the one that we just come out of, and this sort of went a bit to rack and ruin. Was used for storing, well, it started off storing stuff, but ended up storing rubbish. So I come up with this idea. As I say, I'm being enigmatic about it, and I thought, right, it's a good chance to get all the ivy off the side and up over the roof off. The roof was leaking because the asbestos. We reckon this garage is about 50 odd years old, maybe even older, and also this beam here and the front, the end of it, are way too low. The bloke who built the garage must have been he was really short, and this beam here is where I stand for when the workbench was here, and I've always banged my head on it. I have to duck to go in through the door as well. So I'm going to whip the asbestos roof off, and taking all the precautions, of course. I'm sort of well aware of what you need to do to work with these asbestos sheets, and then re-roof it. I'm going to board it out with sterling board, raise the beam, raise the rafters, and put green bitumen bats on top, so that'll make it all nice and waterproof again, and also make it a right height for me to work in, and I won't have to duck to go through the doors anymore. I used to have to duck to go into our toilet as well, because he put a little short door in it, and once Jimmy started banging his head, Kath said, it's time for you to fix that door, so I had to do it. But so this now, as soon as Jimmy helped me and we got the roof all cleared on the side and ready to start, got all the gear in, and then of course it started raining. So hopefully December will be a bit drier and we can carry on with it, and then rewire it and carry on with the next phase, which is getting ready for the project. And I should be doing videos on it and putting them up so that everyone can see what's going on and what I'm doing. So once again, hopefully you'll and follow what I'm doing and find it interesting enough, and it's going to hopefully be the start of some new adventures as well for the 2017. Right, I'll get back to you in a bit. There we go. Just a little update. I've taken off, with the help of Jimmy, the first row of the corrugated roofing, and got some building up to do there. A couple of bricks over there, and I can see it. Where is it? Not too far. The same there, and the beam across the window and the window frame was all rotten, and so were the door posts, so I've got all the wood to replace that. But I've removed the bricks, or I've cut the wood back at that end and the other end, so I can put a couple of bricks upright in there, a couple of soldiers, to bring them up level with the top of the beam that's in there, and that's my datum point for putting in the new beam. Then I can bosh this all out with a saw, and then set the frame, the new wood for the frames in, and then build a new window frame as well. Going to have it much higher so we'll let more light in. There's my workshop there as well, so it's only it's not for the view, it's for the light, but it is quite airy at the moment. So I'll be updating this and then put it out properly as all one finished video, because I've got some moving around to do on the beams and the rest, so I'll keep you up to date on that through the rest of the video. Funny thing is, this is all 3-inch block work, this garage, and they don't do 3-inch blocks anymore, so it makes it rather awkward for doing the patching in. We have to use bricks on their sides to fill in the gaps that I'm going to be making, but you'll see that as I go along. Right, see you soon. Well, the last 2 days it's been slow progress, but I've got the second beam raised up, and I've got the first beam in place with 2 uprights for the door. And then I've been cleaning up some salvage bricks, courtesy of my next door neighbour, to raise up the walls, which will gradually be reduced down and tapered down towards the far end, and then we'll be able to put the roof on. It's slow progress, but I'm doing it as I go along, making up as I go along, and got a bit of man flu as well. Once the everything's sort of fitted into place, I'm going to take this window frame out and make a new one, but I'll wait till after I've done the roof for that. Well, we got the roof off, the last panels of the roof off yesterday, and it was a gorgeous day yesterday, but now the wind's picking up, and it's meant to be a bit breezy today, possibly with some showers, but we're going to press on with building up the tops level with the new wood we've put on, and see how far we get today. The next thing to do after that will be to put the new roof on. Well, I've got the last bit of the tops of the walls rebuilt, and I've stuck the panels up on the roof, and there's a gap of about 80mm. So I've bought some 100 or 95mm boards to put down the offside, so it will protect the edges of the sterling board and from the weather, and then I can cut to how I want to. So that's the latest progress. We're actually looking like we've got a proper workshop now, starting to anyway, with a bit of roof on it, and it's so much nicer now. It's proper height. Ha. There we go. Got the roof on, well, the board's on. I'm taking out that window frame. And trimmed off the excess board, and then I've just laid up the corrugated bitumen sheets to gauge the spacing of them, and then it absolutely lashed it down yesterday, so everything's soaking wet in here, because it's obviously not weather tight yet, but it won't be long now. It's a nice sunny day today. Well, it's a lovely bright sunny morning. The roof's been on for a few days, but we've had some snow. It's been too cold to do anything very much. Certainly not finish off this side. I like to point in up underneath that board, and then using the heat gun curl the side of the bitumen roofing felt stuff over and nail it to that wood. So you can see where I've put in the new bricks. I've made one of the window frames already, and that's a tight fit, and I'm going to chop off the render that's pointed around the sides of the old window, and then I can put it in and then point into it, so it's all sealed in as well as screw it. I'll show you the roof now. It's doesn't look too bad with the snow on, but it's all up and down all over the place. So kind of reminds me of this. Right, so another thing I did was render the inside where the bricks had been used to raise the roof higher on that side, and this side I put some paint on, some yellow paint, just to cover it over, because I want to put the fuse box here in this corner, and I've got the others to do to finish off in the outside, but because of the cold weather I'm not going to do it at the moment, because I already lost one bit. I did a bit of shuttering to fill in this bit here, and it froze, and it was like Rice Krispie cake the next morning. It just crumpled on your hand, so I used some quick setting stuff which was going off as I was putting it in, because I think it's not meant for this sort of job, and that's all set nicely in about half an hour. So I'm going to render over that to tidy it up along with the rest, just point it in and skim it over. I actually don't normally have very much luck with getting render to stick to anything, but it did come out quite well in on this job. But in the house, when I've tried it, I've ended up getting my next door neighbour in, because he does that sort of stuff, and he manages to make it all stick to the walls. Window frame, but get it all in, go in there behind that lot, and got some plastic to put in it, so it's going to be obscured, but you'll just let the light in. Oh, this is cold up here. Well, I made the two window frames for the side windows and the window frame for the bottom end, and it's all glazed out with roofing stuff, and I'm working on the doors frame on the door now, framing out the door to put in the fill the hole. Some more progress made. Still way too cold to do any pointing up for the moment. It's been freezing here for the last couple of weeks at least, and even though there wasn't a frost today, the water was all frozen in the buckets in here. So that's the next job. Done the guttering yesterday, so that should help keep the water away. Now we've got a door. Not quite fitted yet, because I've still got to change the handle. I bought the wrong sort of knob grommet. Right, got the windows all filled in, pointed up around them. Still got to fix the windows, and I need more sealant. These windows are all done, sealed in. Just tossed some paint to seal up the rendering I did up where I raised the roof. And I've been putting in lights as well. Sockets, got 2 sockets, and there's 4 lights up at the moment, but I'm going to get another couple of these short ones to put in to the gaps That should give us a nice even spread of light around the place. And we've got some cable, some single wire armour cable to run down to renew the feed up here, because this feed that runs in here is in pipe work, and it's all sort of UV collapsed under the UV rays and that from outside. So I'm going to re-route it all in 4mm single wire armoured. That really is it. There's bits and pieces to finish off, just little bits, but basically the workshop's ready now for the grand reveal. Made a sawhorse, which is going to help in the project. It's the first one I've ever made, and it doesn't wobble very much. I've got a dry whiteboard up as well. So the next thing you see will be the big reveal on the big new project. See you soon.